So if Bitcoin breaks above my 25K, yeah. So I mean, that's the big question is like at what pivot point do you start to say, okay, this is the beginning of a new bull run? And again, for me, looking at the chart, that bearish pattern would get broken there around 25. But the problem is that just above that, you have this like huge area of sideways action, which is around 28.5. So it's hard for me. I guess to suffice it to say, like the way I play it, the way I'm a trader is, and this is more on the trading side, but let's say we break up here and we go there. So now you have resistance being hit. So yes, you've broken this. What I would probably then do, I wouldn't be a buyer here because I never like to buy into resistance. But what I would probably do is I'd expect a pullback to this line, which is also this high pivot, and then I'd be a buyer there. Now, again, whether or not I go like long, I'm not really a long-term trader, but at least that you could make a case for being a good support for another pop, maybe a move to the upside. But you're right in the fact that like every good trader looks at both sides, right? You can think that this is the side that's going to win or that you're going to be right on, but you also have to look at the other side and think, okay, well, where do I change my thesis? Where does my thesis fail? So I think that the market is pricing in the pause by us having this rally. Although today with the dollar popping, I think it's beginning a little bit more of a gray area. But I do think that a 50 in December would be a little much for the market to take. If the Fed said, hey, we'll do another 25 in December and then pause, I think the market would kind of be like, okay, at least they're pausing in 25. It's only 25. Yeah. But I think we'd sell off if they basically came out hawkish and said 50 again in December, or kind of alluded to that. And going back to what we were talking about politics and how the gridlock is best, what's fascinating is that while the economy is good, I think gridlock the market does like. But what you'd have to be intrigued by and think about is if we slip into a recession, and let's say it's starting to get to a bad recession, and the Fed can't print us out of it because inflation's so high, does then the market regret gridlock because then you can't get any spending bills to come out to stimulate growth? And it's just, again, I'm just thinking, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead, but it is interesting to think about that is that it doesn't allow for spending bills to come out that could actually stimulate growth. I mean, Bitcoin can do anything it wants, but at least per the charts, I'm definitely more in that groove of thinking the max upside here would be kind of around the 25,000 level. Yep. And if we take a look at the chart, that would basically be taking us to the high end of this channel here. So we have a channel on Bitcoin. If you connect these highs, well, number one, the lows connect right out, then the highs. And it's this beautiful kind of bearish channel. And I think what's interesting about a bearish channel is that if we did rally to 25, guess what's going to happen? And you guys know this, like everyone's going to get bullish, but you're still within the channel, which is a bearish channel inside the last move down. And so it's almost ironic in that way of it has to sucker in enough people before you can get that next dump. So again, I'm not sure if it'll go to 25, but we are making what I would consider a small micro bull flag here, or in spirit of bull flag, which at least does favor some upside, maybe to 22.5, which would be first resistance here, and maybe upwards of that 25 level. But I'm still in the camp personally that I still don't think we've reached bottom. Being through the tech bubble back in 99, 2000, 2001, and the similarities with the .coms, it's just crypto is just too. It would be too weird to. It wouldn't. It's not enough of a flush out to get to finish out crypto yet to put in a bottom, in my opinion. Yeah, a little bit on the altcoins. Like I play around. I mean, my biggest core positions are usually ETH and Bitcoin, but I dabble in a little Solana, Avalanche, Cardano, Polkadot. Kind of like the second tier, not the biggest ones, but I just play around because those obviously percentage wise, you're going to get a bigger bang for your buck out of them than Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I do definitely play with those a little bit. And then, I like keeping an eye on some of the new ones, like Quant is kind of an interesting one. That's had a major run. I love the head and shoulders, the inverse head and shoulders that it had and how it played out to target. And basically I'm keeping an eye on it in terms of if we get a retrace here, this would kind of be my zone for rebuy or buying it. So right around like 120, 125 right here, if it pulled back there, that should be a pretty good support. You can see this shoulder, head, and then shoulder, and then the breakout. And I think the coolest thing about this is for those people out there that, just some of the cool stuff about technical analysis is to calculate the breakout target, take the lowest point of the head and draw a vertical to that line. And that distance will be the same generally, unless nothing's perfect. But in general, and it turned out to almost be to the dollar. That's the same distance there to there, and that's where you topped out right there. So kind of cool stuff in terms of technicals about how things work. And then for me, I honestly didn't even look at this chart until it was already breaking out. So by no means did I participate on the bullish side, but now it's on my radar where if it pulls back here, then I likely would be interested in buying it. Yeah, I always say that too, right? Is that, everyone's like, oh, bear market, it sucks. Well, yeah, if you're like a long-term investor, it's bad. And that's where I think we are. We're going to be in this kind of like sideways Brazil type market where Brazil had this crazy move up from like 2002 to 2008. And then since then, it hasn't made a new all-time high since 2008. So I don't know if it'll be 14 years before the US does, but I bet it's close to 10. And I think, again, you're going to see this sideways move. But going back to what I was saying is that within bear markets, the best opportunities arise. I mean, think back to Bitcoin when it was at 3,500 in the last bear market, then it ran to 69,000, and you could see these type of moves. So again, everyone should just be aware long-term investing may need to take a pause. I feel like they've had their day in the sun, right? Ever since the Fed was printing money, you could have just gone long and been happy. But now it's time for us swing traders to really emerge.